So what were the first three thoughts that came into your head once you discovered you won $10 million?
That day, the prize went from 5 million to 10 million. So I was like excited to call my wife and go, "Hey, honey, I got some bad news. I didn't win $5 million." And she was gonna be like, "Oh, but I won 10."
And did your accountant say it's actually going back from 10 to 5?
Yes.
Did you start spending as someone who had $10 million?
For me, my ultimate goal was to try to find a treatment for my son, Lucas. I declared to the world what I want to do, and now I got to go do it.
Did you wake up some mornings and pinch yourself and say, hey, was that real?
Winning $100,000 is a big deal, but $10 million is like outrageous. There was times where I questioned if it was really going to happen.
The number 6 kept coming up. What is it about the number 6 that resonated with you?
I had a prayer book, and I was saying the Shema, and obviously the first verse of the Shema has 6 words in it. It happened to be Elu's the 6th month. The day of the last challenge, guess what day it was? The 6th day.
If after you won the 10 million, MrBeast looked at you and said, I'll let you flip a coin. You could win 100 million or $0. Would you have done it? So before we dive in, we've done a lot of podcasts. I've never sat with somebody who's won $10 million before taxes. We'll get into that. Jeff Allen, welcome.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
What's life like?
Since 10 million,
Mhm.
a little bit different, a little the same. But yeah, I mean, it's all good problems to have for sure.
What's the worst thing right now that you are challenged with day in, day out?
I feel like there's a lot of responsibility with 10 million. Like for me, my ultimate goal was to try to find a treatment for my son, Lucas. So it's like, how do I stretch these dollars out? Do I invest into projects now? Do I try to grow it? It's a combination of the both, but it just gets me like realizing that I have a responsibility to try to make a dent. I declared to the world what I want to do, and now I got to go do it.
So we're going to go through all of that, but I want to start from the beginning. The day you were born through today, what was life growing up for Jeff?
Had a really great kind of childhood, middle class. Grew up in the Midwest in Ohio. I had 4 older sisters, so growing up, I was kind of spoiled till I was about 8. Then I had 5 moms for the
Mhm.
next kind of 40 years. I was blessed with great friends, and I think I grew up at the great time where most of my childhood was analog. No cell phones, no internet. And then I went to high school in the late 90s. So got internet. So I got to be able to live my, 6th grade, say, "Mom, I'm gonna go. I'll be back tonight at dinner." And no one had any way to get a hold of me. I had a great rearing, great family, good friends. Yeah, and Ohio's a great place to grow up.
Family had money growing up?
Wouldn't say we had money, but we didn't need for anything. My dad was a dry cleaning salesman, so sold hangers and dry cleaning equipment to dry cleaners. My mom was a stay-at-home mom and would clean houses to help out. But like my dad, I learned how my dad kind of put us through private schooling or help us with college. Is like he would tell my mom, "Hey, just want to let you know, we're closing on a house today. It's an investment property. We're taking $8,000." And she's like, "Well, how did you get this money?" He goes, "I've been saving it." So he would always work odd jobs to try to save money to invest into real estate, to try to help pay for college, and also, 4 sisters. You got to help out with the weddings.
Wow. So tell me about your teenage years, college. How did life develop from there?
Yeah, I always got into sports. So I was playing, football, basketball, baseball in high school, continued with that. And, again, had a great group of friends in high school.
Mhm.
Ended up playing college football. So played college football at a high university. I was on the team. I didn't play that much. And then from there, kind of just got into business and, kind of got into the medical device space, sales and business development, and did that for, the next 2 decades
As an employer or employee?
as an employee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Making some money?
Yeah, it was good. I was blessed to get into kind of a high profile sales job. So selling medical devices, lucrative. And then I got introduced to medical device startups.
Mhm.
So early stage companies, early on commercialization. And it was a ton of fun. I mean, you are the front line where things are breaking. You're trying to fix them. You're telling the company what the customer needs. Again, it kind of feels like a sports team there. And made some amazing friends there too.
So that sales job, was that salary and commission?
Yep. The first sales job I got was all commission. all commission, you had a draw. So if you don't meet the draw, you got to pay it back. But it really kind of teaches you how you got to eat what you kill. Like you really got to go out and do it. You're not gonna make any money kind of sitting on your butt all day.
So when you started a family and realized that Lucas had CTD, how much of your inability to get after the problem was money specific versus not having just resources?
So his condition is a rare genetic brain disorder. It was discovered in the year 2000. And so for 25 years, they've been working on it. Researchers have not a ton, but enough, and they just still haven't cracked the code. So money is certainly kind of a barrier to finding a treatment, but it's not the kind of the ultimate. It's not the silver bullet. It's really piecing together different portions of research, having technology advance. So when we first found out about Lucas's condition, it was, geez, we need to do everything we can. So we did fundraisers. My wife and I have been the primary kind of the leading fundraiser for the organization, but we're just a drop in the bucket of what needs to happen.
And that CTD community, I imagine you've collaborated and spoken with other parents that are battling this as well?
Totally. So the Association for Creatine Deficiencies is the kind of leading nonprofit 501(c)(3), and I became a voluntary board member like right away. And I'm the eternal optimist. Like we're going to find a solution. The wisdom is already out there to find a solution for Lucas. We just need to uncover it. It's a parent-led org, great people, and amazing families. And every parent handles a special needs rare disease child differently. And so, not only are we trying to find a treatment for all kiddos, but you want to be there for other, dads who are struggling.
Wow. I can just based on reading and learning about your story, and maybe this is something Lucas can't express, but it's easy to see that you're every kid's hero. And I don't even mean the Mr. Beast, the 10 million, but just, I think even bigger than that is your drive. You've walked across the
The
United
whole
States.
state of California.
Wow.
You should join next time.
I can barely walk 2 blocks, Jeff. Go easy on me. Okay, this is my
It-
podcast. You're not. No, I am. No, maybe. Why you plan on doing it again?
we're thinking about the state of New York,
I could do that.
maybe north to south.
I could do New York City, maybe.
That actually would be not easy.
No, with Ubers.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so people are watching this. There are many people that have watched Beast Games, many people who have not. But for those who have not, I don't want to lose them. So for 30 seconds, make believe they live under a rock
Okay.
somewhere in California. If you could just describe 30 to 60 seconds what the Beast Games were and what your involvement was.
So the Beast Games were started by MrBeast. And MrBeast is the largest YouTuber in the world. 370 million subscribers, does a lot of videos that are challenge based. The challenges are sometimes elementary, but they actually are really complex when you do them. So he wanted to create the largest game show ever, like competition show. So the most contestants, the highest cash prize, and that's what he did. So Beast Games season 1 broke I think 44 Guinness Book records. It started with 1,000 contestants and ended up with one champion, and that champion won $10 million. So it was a wide kind of variety of emotional challenges, physical challenges, intellectual challenges, some with chance, and it was a heck of a ride.
How did you hear about the show?
I saw it on like just a casting website. So my oldest son, introduced me to Mr. Beast. Geez, I think it was early 2024. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy's pretty cool. Then I saw him on Joe Rogan. I kind of took in some content of his. And then I saw this opportunity to apply. I'm like, oh my gosh, like my oldest son will think I'm cool and I can use this as a platform to talk about Lucas's condition. So my ultimate driver was, can I get on here? Can I go far enough to be able to tell Lucas's story to the world? That was kind of the primary driver.
Was Jack your biggest cheerleader throughout?
He was like my coach.
He was.
Like once he realized I was on, anytime a new Mr. Beast video dropped, he goes, Dad, we got to watch this. He goes, I think there's a clue in the 17-minute mark when they're in the caves. Like literally, like was my coach. It was awesome. He was such a good coach.
So I imagine throughout Beast Games, for those that don't know, you were not with your family, right?
Yeah, so when you sign up for Beast Games and you kinda check in, they take your all technology away from you. So, take your phone, take your laptop, they seal it up, they kinda put it in a locked room, and you're kind of without, any connection to the world. We didn't have a calendar, we didn't have phones, we didn't have watches, so my concept of time and dates kinda went away pretty quickly.
Was that hard?
The first few days, you just everybody's phantom reaching for their phone, you're just
Mhm.
so connected, but after day 3, it was like freedom. It was awesome.
You became Amish,
Exactly. I
right?
mean I mean, well, and you just it felt like I was in the early '90s again. Like, you actually are talking to people, you're asking questions, you're listening to them, and you're finding yourself doing things with your hands, like you're playing basketball, you're working out. It was a ton of fun.
That's very interesting to me. So now, months afterwards, do you have a different view on technology because you went technology free for so long?
I don't know if it's new. I feel like I always knew I was on technology too much, but I know what happens when I get away from it, and and trust me, I try to do these phone fasts. I wish I could do it more often, and I know I can. Just Beast Games forced me to do it.
Gotcha. Okay, so let's walk through the Beast Games. A lot of it was psychological relationships, how you think about yourself versus others, and then like it just gets combined in one, I guess Mr. Beast knows emotion and sort of played with it. What did you find to be the most mentally difficult throughout the games?
I'd have to say episode 3, where, we were supposed to select a group of your friends, 3 friends. He kinda did a little rug pull. He's like, "Hey, we're going to do a potato sack race. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be game day." And then after the potato sack race, he goes, "Okay, now you're gonna cuff yourself to each other. We're gonna go into this cube that is bright white, and you're not gonna be able to leave until one of you guys cuffs yourself to the wall. But there will be a phone in there where you can ask for anything that'll help you make a decision on who cuffs himself." This is like, I think this is the third challenge. We're probably there for about a week. I'm really starting to miss my family and my boys, my wife. And so I'm like, what am I doing here? Like, I am an old man compared to everybody else here. Like, what am I doing? I started questioning everything. And then I realized, gosh, no one in my cube was ready to go home. Everybody wanted to stay. Everybody had their reason. And I get it. And not everybody in my room wanted to play a game of chance to try to see who would cuff themselves to the wall. So that was the most psychologically trying. Like, after I got through that, I didn't eat for like a day and a half. I just was not like, it's lost my appetite. I felt dirty. I felt sick. It was, again, Mr. Beast knows what he's doing.
As you progressed through the games, did your emotions change? Did you get more nervous, more confident, more belief in God? What was that like?
There was a very strong kind of contingent of people of faith in the games, which was neat. So a ton of prayer, a ton of support for others. Even when people would get eliminated, people would kind of pray for them. So after that, after I got through that challenge, I kind of found my feet and kind of go, okay, you know, kind of remember. One of my favorite poems is "If" by Rudyard Kipling. And kind of just one of the themes throughout that is don't ride the highs too high or the lows too low. So it's like, this is a game. You can make great friends, but don't get overly emotional about things. So, after that, like, I just leaned on my friends and I mean, I built some awesome relationships there as well. And we trusted each other. We helped one another out. And at the same time, like, we were able to bring books, religious books in. And so I had a chance to go back to my luggage and I had a prayer book. I actually had the Torah. I forget what, you'll have to tell me which book it was. It was actually at the end of the year. So it had to have been Deuteronomy.
Mhm.
So I brought that with me. So I was able to kind of like, and try to like ask security guards, what date it is. Okay. What Shabbat is it? Okay. Let me read the commentary. So, like, that actually helped me because he had a lot of alone time to, like, get into prayer. Like, I'd never prayed so much,
Mm,
and I wasn't praying for an outcome per se. I was praying to connect.
gotcha. So people who are listening, especially the Jewish listeners, hear you starting to talk about religious books. Did you grow up Jewish?
I did not. I was raised Catholic.
Hmm.
Went to 12 years of Catholic schooling. I got introduced to the Torah. It was actually right when Lukey got diagnosed. So I called my friend Miriam, who's probably the closest to God that I know, and I said, I need help. Like I need to learn how to pray again. And so she introduced me to the Torah, and she did it through. She studies through the Kabbalah Center. I didn't expect it to transform me the way it did.
How did it transform you?
I started having a relationship with God. Before, I obviously I believe in God. I knew God existed, but I didn't speak to God and I didn't listen to God. And obviously, I mean, the stories of the Torah, obviously are real stories, but also have kind of deeper meanings. The story of Joseph, the righteous, just totally changed me. And then I started reading the commentary, and I forget who it is. I think it's Rabbi Akiva's teacher said, he's all known for saying this is also for the best. And I realized, gosh, Lukey's condition, there's a reason why he has it. It's up to me to figure out what that is. And it just helped me kind of look back in my life and kind of find all the beauty in the bumps. It truly is transformed me.
That's incredible. Wow. How has your relationship with your wife grown? Have you guys gotten closer over the years as a result of what's been happening? Maybe even from the Beast games, what effect did it have on your family?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, winning $10 million forces you to have conversations that you might have skirted or you might have avoided. So we did some kind of, I look at couples counseling as either an antibiotic or a vitamin.
Mm.
Either you're trying to fix something that is going to hurt you, or you're just trying to be proactive. So we did some couples counseling as a vitamin, and it really helped us kind of figure out what's next for us. But going back to Lucas's condition, after his diagnosis, we handled it differently. Like she's very pragmatic. I'm very optimistic. Like, "Hey, we're gonna get through this. It's gonna be okay. We're gonna find a treatment." And she's thinking about what's life gonna be like in 25, 30, 35 years when Lucas gets older. And I think the fact that we had both views and both kind of mindsets really helped us. And she is so strong. She's like the best mom. And so like I feel like us going through this as a rare disease special needs parents together kind of forced us to look at life a little differently and kind of shift our perspective to what are we here for. It definitely made us more sharing people.
So, what were the first three thoughts that came into your head once you discovered you won $10 million?
Oh, I was in a different world, but kind of once it hit me, I was like, oh my gosh, like Jack does not have to take care of Lucas. Meaning Jack doesn't have to be Lucas's caregiver. He gets to be his brother,
Mm.
which is like obviously I want him to care for him, but I want him to be his brother first. Second is we can actually help other kids like Lucas. You know, to to find a treatment for a rare disease costs like 40 to 50 million dollars. So $10 million, even after kind of taxes and charitable deductions is a drop in the bucket, but it's a huge boost to all the research we're doing. So we can help other kids. Third, at the time, I didn't realize my wife and Jack were still there. Like I thought they had already gone home. So in my mind, like that day, the prize went from 5 million to 10 million. So I was like excited to call my wife and go, "Hey, honey, I got some bad news. I didn't win $5 million." And she was gonna be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, but I won 10." So like that was the thought that went through my mind. Like I got to play a joke, but I looked down when I was on the pile of money and she was down there, and then I just got super emotional, and it was just awesome to share that moment with them.
And did your accountant say it's actually going back from 10 to 5?
Yes and no. I mean, obviously there's some ways to kind of minimize your tax burden. Obviously the one of the main drivers is to help fund research. So whether it's a donor advised fund or a private foundation, we're still working through that, and some other obviously tax exempt or tax deferred investments. But yeah, it's where I live in California. It's not the most tax friendly place.
We'll be right back to this week's episode with Jeff. But I want to tell you something. Jeff just mentioned donor advised funds, a DAF, DAF. I want to tell you that more and more people are using donor advised funds. One sponsor of the Kosher Money podcast is the Donors Fund. What is the Donors Fund? You got to check it out. If you have an app store on your phone, open up the app store, search the Donors Fund. It's the best way to immediately get a tax deduction. So if you ever give any charity throughout the year, you don't have to be running for a receipt, right? You give charity to the nonprofit through the Donors Fund. You sign up if you're on a web, thedonorsfund.org/kosher money. It is simple. And at the end of the year, your accountant says, hey, Joe, Nancy, Bracha, did you give charity this year? And you say, wait a second, download one document from the Donors Fund, send it off to him, and you are well on your way. There are so many more features involved. It's a really sleek banking/charity experience. It's not banking, but it's if your bank had a sleek mobile app for charity, that's what this is. Thedonorsfund.org/kosher money. Link is in the show notes, okay? Tax season is behind us, so this is actually the Donors Fund's last sponsorship for now. And if you would like to sponsor a future episode, reach out, hi@livinglchaim.com, and enjoy. Maybe you've considered innovating a whole new way of operating your business, but dismissed it that it was just too hard. Time lost is profit lost, and scaling feels impossible. That's where BitBean comes in. Love the name. BitBean specializes in custom software solutions that solve your unique challenges. So, whether you're in healthcare, real estate, retail, or any industry that's drowning in data or complex processes and workflows, their expert team will work with you to understand your needs and create a better in-class system tailored to your business. Send my regards. I'm Ellie. Use my name. One client, a therapy company, was overwhelmed with managing fieldwork, government forms, and a back office workflow. Ew. BitBean built them a custom solution that streamlined everything, saved them time and money. It's time to stop chasing information and start innovating. Visit bitbean.com to see how they can help your business scale smarter. That's bitbean.com. Custom software solutions that work for you. Link and info in the show notes. Enjoy. So you've been asked this, and I'd love for you to tell the audience, why not move to a tax-friendly environment?
I could. And I've thought about I live in the Bay Area, in Silicon Valley. My wife and I worked at startups, and so you daydream about these giant exits and distributions. Unfortunately, my wife and I haven't had them yet. And kind of what would you do if you got a giant lump sum of money? So we've discussed it, but with our son's condition, we live right next door to my wife's sister, and they have two boys. We have an amazing caretaker who helps with Lucas. So it's like we would be trading other things for money. Could we make it work? For sure. But I think these are one of the times where you have to it's kind of cliche, hey, family's priceless. Well, in this situation, it definitely was. So it was a no-brainer for us to stay, but we certainly talked about it.
So the recording wasn't live, so it was shot. How many months after it was recorded did it air?
It ended in kind of mid-September and then aired. First episode was in December.
Okay.
And then final episode was in February. So 5 months from when the final episode actually happened to when it aired.
And when did you receive $10 million from MrBeast?
It was the day after the final episode aired.
What were your rules between September and when the final episode aired that you were or were not allowed to do?
Strict NDA. Yeah, so they're I didn't tell my mom, I didn't tell my dad, didn't tell my siblings.
Did they know you were on the show?
They knew I was on the show, and they knew I went far because I was, off the grid for so long. Obviously, there was a strict NDA because they need to maintain the integrity of the show. But one of the show producers said to us, I think it was the top 6, and was like, hey, think about all the experiences you had here. Think about how much fun you've had. Think about the ups and downs, the emotions you've experienced. Believe it or not, people at home watching this will feel the same thing. So don't tell them how you got out, when you got out, if you won, because you'll rob them from that experience. So that combined with the NDA was enough for me to kind of go, all right, this is my opportunity to practice concealment. And knowing the power of concealment, it's like, man, what a cool gift I gave my family. Because if you see my family's reaction videos to watching it live, oh, it's awesome.
Can we put them in now for others to see?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool. So we're going to put that in now and then we'll come back.
It was discovered 25 years ago, and there's still no therapies and no cures.
Wow, that was great.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah. Okay, so during that time, were you waking yourself up, let's say in December 2024? You couldn't talk about it. You didn't have the money yet. Did you wake up some mornings and be like, and pinch yourself and say, hey, was that real? Is this happening? Because that's a long time to not be able to share such a big secret.
100%. And I kind of go through these stages where you're elated, like flew home with my wife and my oldest son, just like, oh my gosh, we won. This is amazing. And then you kind of go, I can't tell anybody else. Like this is the biggest thing that's ever happened in my life. But I can't tell anybody. I have to act like life is normal. So back to business as usual. And then I start questioning, like, is this really, am I really going to get paid? Like, this is a lot of money. And then, I wouldn't say I got depressed, but you kind of get like, what do I do now? Like, I'm
Mhm.
so used to being told where to be, what to do, and, built some amazing relationships. So then you kind of, believe it or not, you forget about it. And then you kind of go, wait, what's the date? Okay, the show's going to air in a month. Start thinking about it again. And then once it airs, you relive it all again. But there's always times where I'm going, did I violate the NDA? What did I do? Am I going to get, is this really going to happen?
Mhm.
Because again, it's $10 million. I mean, like winning $100,000 is a big deal. $500,000 huge. $1 million, but $10 million is like outrageous, like the largest cash prize ever. So like there was times where I questioned if it was really going to happen.
Did you have the ability to talk to other contestants during that time about things you couldn't share with the public, or you're literally not able to communicate with anyone about anything?
Yeah, you can communicate with other contestants about shared experiences. So for
Mhm.
example, one of my best friends from the show, Patrick 930, we both made it to the top 10. So we could talk about everything up until when we were kind of separated. So there's people, my friend Gage 974, he also made it to the top 3. He was the guy who flipped the coin in the final episode to take it from 5 to 10. We were able to talk about everything up until he left. So you had some people to chat with, which was nice. But yeah, you didn't chat about, I didn't tell anybody about the last final episode.
My real name is Ellie, but people call me Ellie 11,000. So I'd prefer if you, I mean, it's kind of cool to hear you say name, number as you're not even thinking about it twice where you're calling these people name, number. It's
Oh, is that
kind of
what I
cool.
just did? Oh
Yeah.
my
You
gosh.
see, you didn't
Okay.
even realize.
Well, yeah, and I love numbers. And I think like taking away the phone, I got oddly obsessed with numbers.
Right.
So I just started memorizing numbers, always calculating percentages. And in my mind, like, okay, how many left? I have an X% chance that I will win. I have an X% chance I'll get to the top 10. And that's what kind of drove me. Like I knew I had to get far enough to talk about Lucas. So I was just always thinking about what are my percentages to get closer to doing that.
Did you start spending as someone who had $10 million?
Yes and no. Mostly no, but we went on a nice beach vacation over the holidays in the end of December. And we live in California, but we've never done a beach vacation. So we went to Hawaii and just didn't think about what we were spending, and it was a blast.
The number six kept coming up. What is it about the number six that resonated with you?
So historically speaking, the number 6 meant nothing to me. It's not like for years. It's not like it was my football number or my basketball number. But in the days leading up to the final episode, the number 6 kept surfacing. So Patrick 930 had to hand out a key to someone. He gave me the next key, which was key number 6. That put me in bunk number 6. After the phone bribe game, I got into the top 6. And I kind of shared that we were able to have prayer books, and I had a prayer book, and I was saying the Shema, and obviously the first verse of the Shema has 6 words in it. This was in the month of Elul. So Shuvah, I was going through Zairon Pen, Hesed Vura Tefret, Netzach Hod Yesod. I was going through the 6 attributes. It happened to be Elul's the 6th month. The day of the last challenge, guess what day it was? The 6th day. So for me, like, and I'm a numbers guy. So I'm going, what is like, I felt it and I realized it. And once we got to the final challenge and I looked down at the briefcases and I saw that they were numbered, I immediately said, it's 6. and that's where I'm starting at 6. And I had this kind of remarkable level of certainty that I'd never had. It was like I was remarkably calm. And so a few other things happened when Jimmy kind of presented this challenge. We Tawana and I each got to open up the briefcase and see what it'd be like if you opened it up and the light came on. And before she put the check in, he spun it around twice. One of the times he put his hand on the number 6. Another time he spun it around and let it kind of stop on its own. Right in front of me was the number 6.
Mm.
And so, like, for me, it was just, yeah, am I going to listen to this or not? And so for me, it was a no. Like, there was not a doubt in my mind that 6 is where I was going to go.
That's wild. So I asked maybe a couple thousand people on a relatively smaller WhatsApp group or groups, what should I ask Jeff? And
A couple thousand people?
yeah,
That's a lot.
it is
That's
a
a big
lot,
WhatsApp.
but it's, people that are very into the Kosher Money Show, and
Yeah.
I'm able to interact with them. And the most popular question, maybe asked in jest, is if Jeff can send me some of the money. And this leads me to my next question. It's a little bit of a pet peeve of mine when people ask for something and like roll up your sleeves and like become the next Jeff. But my question is, after you received the money, which is after the show aired, did friends, family, old coworkers come out of the woodworks to either ask for money or to congratulate you in a way that you may have felt sometimes was done not so earnestly?
Like they're planting a seed for an ask later.
Perhaps.
Um, I think the short answer is, believe it or not, no. The vast majority of people were very kind of earnest in their congratulatory remarks and like well wishes. There's a couple. There was a couple people who planted some seeds. And kudos for them for asking. But most of the asks were from perfect strangers. Like, I mean,
Mm.
I got a lot of emails and direct messages from people like asking for $250,000 to buy a new truck, put money into savings. And it totally surprised me at the gall of some people to do that. But kudos to them for shooting their shot.
Do you reply, or just impossible to reply to
Yeah, I
everybody?
mean, people who are asking for stuff without a relationship, I don't reply.
Mhm.
And most of them I don't see. But, I'd say the vast majority of the messages I've gotten are all well wishes, prayers for Lucas.
Mm.
We're rooting for you. We can't wait to watch your journey and help you find a treatment. So it's when it comes to money, I was expecting more people to ask, but I think they know two things: one, my mission with Lucas, and two, my wife. And good luck trying to get money from my wife.
So, did you have a financial advisor set up? Did MrBeast's team guide you in that way of, hey, speak to so and so, or did you just learn this all on the fly?
Yeah, they allowed me to get some NDA signed with some people to kind of start preparing. I'm fortunate that my wife works at a fintech company that is super unique. It's called Art of Finance, and they bring the tools of the uber wealthy to like think about all the tools that a family office brings people who are very, very wealthy. They want to bring that to kind of your typical accredited investor or qualified purchaser. So everything from they help me with a special needs trust to looking at different life insurance policies, structured products, how to deal with the tax liability dollars to have them work for you before you have to kind of pay the IRS. And it was just one of these things where I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's kismet that my wife started working for them and I got to know them a couple years ago. And they've been kind of a lifesaver for me.
By the way, you mentioned how many people reach out. Jimmy retweeted me maybe a couple of months ago.
Oh, really?
I don't remember what the exact tweet was. Oh, it was about the Beast Games, and someone said, oh wow, the prize is $1 million, 5 million. Yeah, and Jimmy says, we gave $1 million away within the first, X amount of time. And for the next 2 weeks, people who were tweeting at Jimmy were tagging me because I was in the mention, and the amount of people just asking for things over and over and over as if, and I think Jimmy does it to himself because at some point he might just retweet one of them and be like, yeah, sure, no problem, and he'll like sort of validate that those asks. But it was, I couldn't even look at my mentions because
Were people asking you to connect them?
that
with,
too.
That's
That
what I
too.
get all the time. Is like, please pass this along to Mr. Beast. Like I'm best friends with him.
Right. Do you text him?
Mr. Beast?
Yeah.
Message him. I don't have a cell phone.
Message him where?
On Instagram sometimes. But he's he's nonstop. Like
It's crazy, right?
He films almost every day of the month. He is just going. He loves what he does. But yeah, he's been super kind to me and my family.
I do think he'll be president one day, to be honest.
I think he's got such a bright future. Like other people think he could be the next Walt Disney. Like just like when it comes to how to entertain, I think he will do something that is very meaningful for the world.
That's interesting. He could also be the next Walt Disney who's president,
I know.
right?
It would be sweet. I mean,
Right.
he was someone I would campaign for him.
There you go.
Hey, I'll be Jimmy. I'll be your vice president. That would actually be a good
You have that.
team.
I think it could work. You do have the vice presidential look.
I got the hair.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I would call it silver more than gray.
Yeah, I think it started gray and it kind of got a little more white over the years.
It's a good look. It's like salt and pepper.
Thank you.
Anytime. Okay, so how do you look at the money? I mean, assuming you still have most of it and you didn't buy 8 trucks for 10 people, but what have you done with it so far? Meaning, how do you sort of break it down? You don't have to be super specific, but people are wondering, right? How much do you allocate towards CTD research?
Yeah.
How much do you allocate towards ensuring that in 10 years, you're not ending up like one of those athletes that are bankrupt, right? And I know you have advice, but what's the practical ways and how you're dividing up that money?
First is looking at kind of what are the outlays that are essentially immediate, like within the next 9 to 12 months. So I'd say this calendar year. One is taxes, but that is dependent on how much kind of charitable donations I make, whether it's in a donor advised fund, direct to the Association for Creatine Deficiencies, or starting a private foundation. So those are the things that we're looking at now. We're going, how much do we want to donate this year? How much do we want to fund? Are there projects for us to fund this year? And then how do we make the money work so we can fund projects next year and the year after? And for us, it's not all academia. It's not all research. There are some probably private opportunities for us to fund from, companies who are pushing and advancing treatments. So we're probably looking more at a private foundation than a donor advised fund. And then we kind of go, okay, now tax liability. What do we think it's going to be? Do we just put it in treasuries, or do we look at some principal protected kind of structured products that will maybe give us a little bit more return than treasuries, but have a downside protection? Again, I talk about this stuff like I know it. I'm just learning it.
Mhm.
And I've had some great people who are teaching me some things. And then ultimately long term is how do we make sure that Lucas is cared for the rest of his life? So Lucas, with his condition, if nothing changes, will live with mom and dad forever. And eventually mom and dad are going to go away. So who's going to care for Lucas, and how do we make sure he's cared for? And that's where obviously a special needs trust comes in, where he will have access to the funds, but not lose his benefits. And also just making sure that Jack can go to the college he wants, and Jack, can have a head start in life too. So a lot of long term, a lot of short term, and then ultimately kind of how are we going to fund research in the future?
Hey, Kosher Money listeners, with spring and summer in the air, it's the perfect time to tell you what Twillory has been up to. You can see I'm still wearing my coat, but I'm gearing up for spring and summer. So you know Twillory, right? Men's clothing, so breathable, you didn't even know you're wearing it. It's incredible on a warm day, and it's machine washable just like this coat from Twillory. Yes, Twillory has you covered with comfortable, easy to care for shirts. I'm wearing one right now. Amazing pants, they stretch, and blazers. Check out the airsuit and more. So if you're looking for something for the warmer months, Twillory is perfect. For our new listeners, get this, Twillory is offering an exclusive deal online. Use the code KM20, kosher money, right? KM20 at checkout, and you'll get 20% off your purchase. There's no minimum order, and there's no cap on savings. No cap. That's trendy to say, I'm told. Just head over to twillory.com/koshermoney and take advantage of this offer. Link and all the information is in the show notes. Oh, and if you're in the Long Island area, Twillory now has a new store in Cedarhurst at 461 Central Avenue. It's a great spot to check out their latest collections and sales in person. Happy shopping Imagine being a child trying to focus on school or a play, but all you can think about is, will there be dinner tonight? And now imagine that stress compounded by the fear and uncertainty of war. For too many children in Israel, this is their daily reality. The anxiety of food insecurity, combined with the turmoil of conflict, robs them of the stability they deserve. They're children, for heaven's sake. But Colel Chabad is stepping in. They are Israel's oldest charity, and they are ensuring children have consistent access to nutritious food, even during times like this. When food security is in place, everything changes for the children. They can focus in school, build confidence, engage with their friends, and stress goes down. Self esteem goes up. They thrive emotionally, mentally, academically, in all ways. Colel Chabad isn't just providing meals, they're providing hope, stability, and a sense of safety when it's needed most. You can be a part of this life-changing mission with just a few dollars or a lot. Visit kohelchabad.org/kosher money. Give the families the security they need and the children the futures they deserve. That's kohelchabad.org/kosher money. No dollar amount is too little or too high. Give, give, give. This money goes to an amazing place. I've seen it firsthand. I've been to their pantries in Israel. I see pictures, emails, videos all day and night. They are assisting because of people like you. Thank you. And now back to this week's episode. By the way, one of the coolest things about you is your Wikipedia page doesn't give an exact age. As if you grew up in the 1800s and were unsure if you were born in 1812 or 18. It says like 44-45.
You never know.
Right. We're not breaking it, he is 44-45. Jeff, 44-45.
Yes, I like that. I might use that.
So how do you think about, the juxtaposition between your yearning to learn more about this disease and AI becoming so blown wide open, right? Where I even went through it. I spent about an hour learning about the disease.
Love it.
And I prompted 4 different AI models to say, you're a leading scientist and I need you to figure out a cure for this. And then I ranked each of the possible cures, in another AI. And I wish I was able to like better understand this. I can only imagine how much you've learned, but microbial creatine permease inspired by bacterial orthodox and like the mechanism of actions and how it's going to cure it between Grok 3.
You're my new best friend, by the way. Like, this is awesome.
I felt like, you came out here and I was like, what can I do? I don't have money necessarily, but like, what can I do to help push this along? And this is only an hour's worth of work, but like, how do you think about AI as a potential liaison in your battle? And what are you practically doing? Because you do have some money that you can maybe allocate towards finding a cure.
No parent ever wants to have a child with creatine transporter deficiency. It's a devastating disease where majority of the kids are epileptic too, failure to thrive. But if there's ever a time to have it, it's now, for 2 reasons. One, creatine is getting so much press, not just for, it's always for bodybuilders and athletes, but now it's for normal, everyday people are taking it for brain health. So creatine is getting on the radar. And 2, with, like you said, with AI, like I really like Nature. There's just an article in Nature, I think yesterday, the day before, that is just like looking at the cell and these proteins at different layers than they've ever done it before. So I think the combination of interest in creatine, AI, and the fact that more and more people understand creatine transport deficiency, I'm super bullish on finding a treatment or, and it might be a kind of a step solution. It might be, let's get a little bit of creatine to the brain. Let's get a lot more to the brain and let's just do gene therapy, maybe 5-10 years from now. But I feel that AI will play a huge, huge role in these researchers getting to a solution.
I know you have the fundraiser on the website, legacy831.
Yep.
.org?
.com.
For someone who can donate money, of course, we ask them to do that. But for those that want to, collaborate with you on learning about CTD or even using AI to assist you and your team in doing that, because there are so many talented people. Reddit will prove that over and over. What can they do to like realistically and logically assist you in gathering? Because, I mean, maybe there is something useful in here, maybe not. But if someone does find something, how do they get that information over to you? And is that even productive?
Yeah, I mean, I will never turn away people who are trying to help. And I think the best way to get a hold of me is you can email me at jeff@legacy831.com, or you can DM me on X or on Instagram, legacy.831. But I think the biggest challenge with creatine transport efficiency right now is the blood-brain barrier is so good at its job. It does not allow anything in without the right password. And Lucas's gene, the SLC6A8 gene, is in essence misspelled. So when the creatine comes in there, it has the wrong password, so it can't get in. So how do you get creatine to the brain in a different method? Or is there another drug that is already kind of approved, pre-approved drug that can help kind of be a transporter
Mm.
to bring it in? So any research that someone does, man, I will pass it off to the right people. Like right now, our researchers are so jazzed that more researchers know about it. Because I mean, I've talked to some amazing researchers who message me and go, I have never even heard of this thing. And now they do. So they might think of it a little differently or think of different ways to get creatine into the brain. And half of the battle here is awareness.
I have a friend whose sole mission in life is to get awareness around diseases that only impact a very few amount of people. And, whenever he hears about a disease that, 100 to 1,000 people in the world have, he pushes it, tries to spread awareness. So
How did that become his
I
purpose?
think he suffers from one of those
Wow,
lesser known diseases
that's
and,
awesome.
the rare disease awareness. I want to end with a few fun ones for you.
Sweet.
Things that people did submit, and I said, hey, I do want to try. And my 10-year-old Jonah was crying today because he did not want to go to school. He wanted to meet
Oh my
Jeff.
gosh.
Um,
We got to record a video for Jonah.
yeah, so maybe I am a terrible father, but maybe not. We'll decide. We'll take a poll. But Jonah, you see, I gave you the shout out you wanted. Beast Games 2, Beast Games 3. I know, MrBeast, you're gonna make an appearance where you don't have to talk if there's an NDA where you're in the middle of competing right now. I'm not even gonna look at you. I'm gonna look over there. But this idea that you can potentially win more money somewhere down the line, does that creep in, or you're totally zeroed in on what you have?
Yeah, I mean, I am forever grateful for Jimmy, Mr. Beast, Amazon Prime, and Beast Games. I mean, I won $10 million, and actually, people have heard about creatine transport deficiency. I'm here talking to you about it, which is
Hmm.
awesome. So, however, I can support Beast Games. I mean, would I love to compete again? Of course. It was so fun, and I'm an athlete. I like to compete. So, I would definitely come back for the All Star cast or whatever it may be, or whatever they need. Um, big supporter of Mr. Beast.
If after you won the 10 million, MrBeast looked at you and said, "I'll let you flip a coin. You can win 100 million or $0. Would you have done it?
No,
Why not?
not a big gambler like that. I think 10 million in my hand um, is a lot. I mean, I think if I had time and I could sell that flip to somebody for 25 million, you know, I think that would be my play,
Hmm.
or 15 million. I think that's how I would have done it.
That's cool.
Good question though. I wonder if Gage 974 who flipped the coin would do it.
Gage 974, you're invited on the pod. Do you think you would be acting differently had you won even more money? Or it would just be, based on the splits you have with your 10 million that, like, because people think, hey, if I had $1 million, I'd be set for life. If I had 5 million, that's question one. And number two is our commentaries tell us when you get $1 million, you won 2 million. When you get 10, you won 20. Has that started creeping in?
We'll start with the second
Sure.
question. Yeah, it's you dream about making $1 million or 5 million. I mean, I literally haven't dreamt about making more than $1 million until Beast Games. And to kind of earn $10 million, it's crazy. But then, like, you also kind of go, okay, wait, where is this allocated? I need to keep working. I want to keep working. Like, this certainly changes our life forever. But it's hard to kind of materialize it because a lot of you look at compound growth, And, I mean, I think it's a different story if we talk in 21 years. How did you make this money work for you? So for me, like I always want to have more so that I can share more, and ultimately for me to share more, it's sharing with my family and sharing with people like Lucas and kids like Lucas. And bring me back to your first question again.
If you would be acting the same way had you won 100 million, or would you take, 20 million of that and just take a crazy big bet on something?
If I won 100 million, I think I would be taking bigger swings on research. I drive a minivan. You're not going to see me, getting a Ferrari anytime soon.
We like that.
Yeah, so for me, like, and my wife has taught me more about money than anybody. Her parents were immigrants, so she learned how to stretch a dollar. And like when I first opened up while we were dating, my finances, she's like, "What? Where's all your money going? What are you doing with it?" And so she's taught me how to be thrifty and frugal, and but also kind of spend on things that are meaningful. And so for me right now, what's meaningful is my family and helping kids like Lucas.
Love it. What is your daily schedule like? I mean, I know now you're on the podcast, you're on news. You said you were on Chatter this morning. What is your life like?
Yeah, a lot of this, which is fun. I mean, any chance I can get out and tell the world about creatine transport efficiency or kind of share my story on Beast Games, like I will do it as long as people still want to hear about it. What is it going to look like in the future? I love business. I've spent most of my time in healthcare and most recently in kind of the senior space, so the home care space. So for me, just have a heart for and a business mind for caring for vulnerable populations. So I could see myself getting back into kind of the business world. But in the meantime, I'm kind of busy doing this stuff and also kind of being a dad to Jack and Lucas. I get to spend more time with Jack, kind of he's in baseball season right now. So doing baseball stuff with him, helping coach, and kind of just spending as much time with Lucas as I can.
Do you think that there's money to potentially be made in brand sponsorship? Have brands reached out to you and said, "Hey, we'd love for you to be the face of this advertising campaign," things like that?
Of course, yeah, no, I mean, we're communicating with some brands. I mean, so there's like for me, there's a handful of things I love. Like one, I do like content creation. I'm just starting to do more of that. We just rocked across the state of California. We documented every day, which was a ton of fun. And there's some brands that sound super exciting that have reached out, that I'm exploring, and obviously advocating for rare diseases, but also kind of business. So for me, like I feel like I'm in a great spot where I can kind of pick and choose, and it might be a little bit of both. But yeah, the brand stuff is really new to me and really exciting.
As much as you say you're not a gambler, you do have quite a bit of money in your pocket. Are there some stocks you leaned into? You said, "Hey, just gonna scoop up a little bit of that."
Sense?
Yeah.
No.
Or in the past?
Well, in the past, I mean, in the past, I've had a good run on some stocks that are struggling right now. But for the with the 10 million, it's, much more conservative, I'd say. There's a little bit of risk, but it, nothing, no individual stocks that I've taken kind of going, hey, let me ride it. But by the way, I want to, but this is something that my wife and I have talked about. Like, hey, we've gotten a great gift. Let's be good stewards of it. We don't need to take home runs. We hit the home run. Now let's just get some singles and doubles.
What was, for those that don't know, what was your request of Elon Musk and what materialized?
Oh, so in episode 3, where we had to cuff someone to the wall, we had a phone that we could ask for anything. And the whole goal of that was, can you ask for something that will help you make a decision to perhaps maybe cuff yourself to the wall? So I go, okay, I'm here to try to find a cure for Lucas, a treatment for Lucas. If I can get Elon Musk on the phone, I'll talk to him for a minute. I'll ask him to dinner. I'll fly anywhere in the world and dinner will be on me. If I can bend his ear for an hour, between Tesla, energy, and Neuralink, brain, maybe he and his team can spend some cycles on how to get creatine to the brain. So that was my ultimate aim. And if I would have got Elon on the phone, you would have seen me cuff myself and I would never have been the Beast Games champion.
So it wasn't a money thing, it was more of his mind and talent than anything that you wanted to connect with him.
Oh, 100%. Like, again, my primary driver being on the show was to raise awareness and try to help find a treatment for my son. So if I would have gotten him on the phone and he would have said, "Yep, you can take me to dinner next year anytime," I would have cuffed myself and my journey would have been over.
This is almost a fairy tale ending to the. I know we're in the middle of this story, and God willing, it's going to work out very well. But it's almost like to deny God's hand in everything, given what your mission was initially. It's wild.
It's it's crazy. Like I mean, truly, what drove me from the beginning was the desire to receive for the sake of sharing. Like, can I can I get the opportunity, the platform, or God willing, the money,
Hmm.
so that I can share it and do good with it? And I pressure tested myself a lot. Like, am I just saying this or is this real? And that's Rav Ashlag. That was what spoke to me about how can I receive so that I can share versus receive for the sake of receiving, or share for the sake of receiving. I want this so I can share it. And I am utterly convinced that helped, if not caused, the outcome.
So my youngest, they watch Blippy,
Yeah.
you know, and Blippy. I don't know if they can tell, he has other Blippies now where he can't do it forever, right? So he has people in costume that look like him and they do the show. I think of now Mr. Beast, you're right. He's young and he's able to do it, but at some point he's gonna train other folks to be Mr. Beast, two, three, four of them. Thinking about his channels and the fact that Mr. Beast does do philanthropy and has a whole channel dedicated to it. If Mr. Beast did approach you and say, "Hey, I'd love for you to be the face of my philanthropy," whatever that word is, movement, would you, as a content creator lover, would you lean into that potentially?
Ellie, you're reading my mind. Like this is my dream.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to do that. Like my wife and I always talked about, and this is before children, is like in a perfect world, we go somewhere, we do kind of philanthropic trips, and then we kind of pair the very end with a kind of a nice vacation. We want to be able to help more folks. Having Lucas has kind of changed that, especially when it comes to kind of vacations. But for us, like to be able to do more philanthropic things and with Mr. Beast is like the ultimate dream. Like I would absolutely sign up for that in a second.
My last question, before my last question, is 10 years from now, your son is older, God willing, on the mend. We figure out how to get that creatine through another pathway, maybe fix the gene. And he realizes what you and your wife and his brother have done for him. How do you want him to look at that chapter in his life and, verbally express his emotions
Yeah.
to you?
I I firmly believe that Lucas's soul is perfect. And he came in here to teach mom and dad some lessons. And I think that probably happens a lot with children. I think we're here to learn more from them than we are to teach them. And I think he will be proud that, hey, thank you for learning the lesson. And I think our souls probably made a contract in another life and said, hey, like, I need you to come into this life as a special needs rare disease kid. Are you willing to do it for me? So, that gives me a ton of solace and knowing that our souls are here to help one another. And so I think he will look at us and go, hey, I'm so glad you took on this challenge, found the beauty in it, and not only help me, but help kids like me. Because I think the ultimate legacy that Lucas and Jen and Jack and I want to leave is, can a child be born with CTD in 10 years, be diagnosed at birth, and have a treatment within a week and be able to sit down and talk like you and I are? Like, that's the ultimate dream. I think Lucas one day will see that, and I think that'll be a life worth living for all of us.
It's so cool to see how much you know about Judaism. You're clearly learning even more than I am, and my rabbi will hit me over the head once he watches this, but he shouldn't be on YouTube. Um, how did you discover Living L'Chaim? You mentioned that you've watched a Rabbi Manis Friedman video. What do you think pushed you in that
I,
direction?
I honestly think it was my friend Miriam too. And I think it was maybe, I don't know if it was 2 or 3 years ago. And I started watching it. I'm like, oh, there's some pretty good interviews. Kosher Money, I really like a lot. And, it was definitely the Robbie Manis Friedman. And then my algorithm just kept bringing me back to you. And then I eventually subscribed. But it's, yeah, these are good conversations, and it's, when it comes to religious conversations you can have very strict, and I'd say, I'd hate to say boring. I don't feel that at all when I watch your interviews. Like, it's like, oh, I'm learning something. These are real conversations with real people. Um, yeah, and I've enjoyed it. I can't believe I'm here. I mean, this is actually really, really cool.
He said that, not me. It's kind of cool because when I speak to business people, everyday people, I ask them, hey, what was your favorite episode? And I'm expecting them to say, oh, how to maximize your 401k. And they say, oh, you know that semi-boring rabbi you had on? He is so interesting. The way he speaks about how money is actually spiritual, it blew me away. And I'm like, wait a second. That's kind of cool.
It's so cool. And money is like, and now I think about it, like $10 million, like the only thing that's really changed right now is commas and zeros on a computer screen. It's like, it's all in my mind. Like, technically, that money could not even be in the bank or the financial institution where it is. But at the end of the day, it's a tool, and how do you use it? And I'm super blessed to have gotten $10 million, but I do think it is a spiritual tool that I need to be a good steward of. And I'm sure I'll make mistakes, but hopefully I make more good of it than the mistakes for sure.
So no Bitcoin?
Oh, I own Bitcoin.
He owns Bitcoin.
I mean, I don't think it's doing very well right now. How is it?
I think it's in the 80,000.
Well, it's all relative.
Right.
It depends on when you bought it. But yeah, no, I'm a believer in. I do think blockchain offers some unique things with AI in the future. But yeah, you got to hold some Bitcoin.
Jeff, can't thank you enough. Appreciate you.
Yeah, really enjoyed it. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for listening to such an insightful episode of Kosher Money. How awesome is Jeff 831? I want to tell you something. He is as real as it gets. The way he presents himself on camera is the same exact person he is behind the camera. We got a chance to spend some time with him, with his team. They are really, really great people. He's in it for the right reasons. We're going to put a link to his fundraiser for Lucas in the show notes. Whatever you're able to give, it goes a long way to help Lucas and others like him fight the good battle. And we're so proud of Lucas and his family. And thank you for sharing your story, because it's not every day we get to meet a real life superhero. Thank you again. And now for the rest of this outro, if you'd like to be entered for the chance to win an awesome and free $100 Amazon gift card, we're going to pick somebody who uses one of the following two words: hero or Lucas. Okay? You can use the word hero or Lucas in your comment. Use the words however you'd like, and we will announce the winner in our next episode. Congrats to the winner of a $100 Amazon gift card, YouTube user YB123. Hit us up on livinglchaim.com so we can get the gift card out to you. YB123. Thank you to the sponsors of this week's episode: BitBean, custom software solutions; the Donors Fund, an amazing charity giving platform. We also have Twillory, super comfortable and durable men's clothing. I'm wearing their coat. And friends of Colel Chabad, who are supporting Israel with much needed food and resources. Check them all out by clicking on the links in the show notes. We appreciate you. If you're thinking about your own finances, you need help budgeting, tackling debt, or just want to chat with a financial advisor, the OU's livingsmarterjewish.org website offers free resources and has already assisted thousands of people in navigating their financial journeys. Don't be shy. I've done it. Yaakov's done it. So many people just like us. Reach out to info@livingsmarterjewish.org and schedule. It's free and it's awesome. And if there's small wait, it's worth the wait. If you love the Kosher Money podcast, help us reach more listeners by giving us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Your rating helps boost our visibility in this magical algorithm. Oh, I just realized algorithm is like Al Gore. He created the internet and the algorithms, and he named the algorithm after himself. What is an algorithm? It essentially tells people this is content you're going to enjoy, and we want more and more people to know about us. Thank you so much for your support. If you want even more Kosher Money, you can join our YouTube Premium membership for early access to episodes like this one and other exciting perks. We're constantly working on adding more benefits for our members. And hey, if Premium isn't your thing, no worries. We're just happy to have you here. By the way, one of the Premium memberships we just announced, for I think it's $24.99 a month, it will give you access to merch that we are launching, and you got to check it out. You got to be a member to see what's going on. But if you can't afford it, don't. Yaakov, you want people who can't afford it to pay for it? He said no. Until next time, keep your money kosher. Cha-ching!
Jonah, it's Jeff 831 from the Beast Games. I'm sitting here with your dad. I can't believe he didn't let you come to this podcast. But you need to learn. But your dad's pretty cool. He asked some awesome questions. You got a really cool dad. But I hope you tune into Beast Games Season 2. I don't know when it's going to be, but hopefully I get a chance to be on it again. But thanks for all your support. I appreciate you.
Living Lchaim.